Let's take a look at some of the biggest mistakes you want to avoid making as a new player in Honkai Star Rail, the first of which is not having fun. So if any of this stuff sounds tedious to you and you don't like that idea, it is a game at the end of the day. You're meant to have fun. Do whatever you want. This is just for those that are looking at sort of min-maxing a little bit more and playing a little bit more optimally if that's what you enjoy. On top of that, some of this may seem very basic, especially to people that have played a lot of gacha games or Genshin Impact as well, because some of the core systems are very similar. However, some of these things are specific to Star Rail and you may want to know about, so let's get into it. Kicking it off with some of the easy ones. Now, this is something that's very basic across all of the games, and because your Trailblazer level is going to control so much of what you can upgrade, getting experience is very important. So two basic things is don't miss your dailies and don't let your stamina cap. Those two things are very bad because that means you're actually earning less Trailblazer experience, which slows you down on unlocking a ton of stuff in the game. So that is the first one. And then we move on to stamina refills. Now, whether you want to refill stamina or not is up to you, up to spending levels, up to personal preference, all that stuff. But if you do decide to refill stamina, don't go and refill do 8 refills on day 1 and then none on day 2 and then 4 on day 3. It's the kind of thing you really want to plan out from when you start playing, whether you want to do any refills. The reason being is that the first refill on a day is 50 Stellar Jades, then it becomes 75, 75, 100, and it just keeps scaling up in cost. So you don't want to do, all 8 in one day and then end up spending 200 Stellar Jades on a stamina refill when instead you could have just done the 50 Stellar Jade refill every day across the first week. So that's the one. It's up to you on whether you want to refill. I'm not telling you whether you should or shouldn't, but if you do, just map it out so that you're not wasting extra Stellar Jades on that stuff. The only exception to this would be if you've done everything you can to get experience and you're just short of getting enough experience to reach a Trailblazer level that will unlock new content for you. Then on that day, if you really want to rush, you can do a few extra refills to unlock maybe the rest of the campaign or something like that. Moving on from that is another one that I wanted to talk about just quickly. I mentioned it in my beginner's guide, but if we go over here to the Echoes of War, for newer players, for this one, hang on to this till the end of the week, because at the end of the week, you maybe increase your equilibrium level, your account level essentially, which gives you better drops, because these things are very important for upgrading your traces. So also, check what your characters need before you farm this instead of just farming it. So wait till the end of the week and also check what you need for these, because these two items are very important. And just keep in mind, you won't unlock this one at the very start. You have to get to the point in campaign. So once you might just have to wait a bit to unlock the Eternal Freeze to unlock that one and be able to get those trace upgrades. The next few things I want to look at are related to your character progression. Some of these are basic, but I just thought I'd go through them anyway. First of all, when we look at light cones, to get the bonus, you actually have to be part of that class. So as you can see, this one here is only for the hunt path, and you can tell if it works because it will go green like this. But don't equip one of these light cones to a character thinking you really like that bonus unless it is of the right class, because otherwise you don't get that bonus. Moving on from that, with traces, level your traces evenly because they do start to get very expensive, and also avoid traces once you get further on into the game. As you can see, these ones, they get super expensive. If they're not a stat that really your character needs, wait till later on to get it and maybe distribute those resources, the stamina that you're going to use to farm those resources, into other characters. The next big mistake that you want to avoid is going to be using your premium currency on the standard banner. It could be pretty tempting to try and get towards this pity, but in general, I recommend saving those for the exclusive banners to get characters you otherwise won't be able to get, because you'll always get standard summons along the way in this game and eventually hopefully get most of these guys, plus you will eventually get a select one, and saving your premium currency for these banners is more the way to go.
Not going to go into light cones. Sometimes, maybe, depends on the person. But in general, as a splashable rule, I'd say save your premium currency to summon on the selective banner, not the standard banner. And the next mistake, if we go into your Trailblazer profile, you don't want to forget to set your support character, because as you can see here, I've got this little gift box and I click on that and I do get a good chunk of credits. So when you set yourself a support character, other people can use that support character. And this is very helpful because, like I said, it just gives you extra credits, and credits do become a very big crunch in the game where you just need them for absolutely everything. So getting as many as possible is going to be fantastic. So don't forget to set your support character in this section. Very important.
And the next tip I wanted to give is not leveling up too many characters at the start. I find a lot of people, especially myself as well, when I first got into the game and I didn't know too much, I was leveling everything, testing it. The problem comes not just from leveling, but it comes from then you want to put a light cone on the character, you want to upgrade their traces, and you start burning a lot of your resources upgrading so many characters early on. Now, I made a video going through a free team with just building 5 characters can get you through the entire campaign. So if you want to do something like that, and that way you can learn the game, get a better understanding from just having a very basic team that's also going to have strong characters for in the future. And then from there, once you get to that later game stage, you've completed the campaign, you have a bit more of a feel for the game, and then you can really narrow down on the characters you like or want to play with towards the end game, and then you have those materials saved to go ahead and use them. Because at the end of the day, when we do get to the Chaos Memory mode, which is the end game mode, you will need at least 8. You will end up with more characters fully built. So you will end up doing it, but you just don't want to waste all those resources early on when you're not too sure exactly what you want to do and you're still learning the game.
Moving on from that, I wanted to talk about assignments. Now, I would say it's a mistake to get these things here. These things can essentially be farmed from just enemies in the world, enemies in the simulated universe and stuff like that, and you can always just get these. So these aren't a massive thing. What I recommend getting from here is going to be the experience, the light cone experience, and credits, because those are things you will always need. So you do those 3 and then you can do one of these. The other thing you have is synthesis material. I just don't find myself doing synthesis that often. Making food is kind of pointless in the game because you can't use it in the Chaos Memory. So I've never found myself needing it. If that changes, I will then prioritize these as well. But at the moment, I recommend doing your credits, light cone, and character experience, because those are the things you need more than these, which you can get from basically anywhere else in the game. And the final mistake that I wanted to mention, and I just really wanted to throw this one in here, is listening to other people, including myself, on the internet about what you should do in the game. Specifically around characters. I have tier lists out there, I have recommendations on characters, but the game is so new, there's so much we can find out, and things always change in games from when they release to when they go on into the future. So my recommendation is, if there's a character you just like the playstyle of, go nuts. You're going to end up having to build a ton of characters in this game to complete all the content, so why not have some that you really enjoy? So irrelevant of what the meta is and what everyone says to go for, if that's not going to bring you fun, then don't do it. Go for the characters you enjoy. Honestly, the characters are really well designed as a whole in this game, and you can pretty much have fun with whatever you want and still be able to practically clear most of the content, especially by the time we get into endgame and we have gear sets and you've leveled up more things and stuff like that. So go for what you want. Don't get dragged into being a meta slave. But that just about does it for this one on the key mistakes you want to avoid in the game. If there are anything else that you guys can think of, please let me know in the comments, and I'll make a pinned comment with anything extra that I think looks really good and people should know about, or I can always make another video. But anyway, I'm going to shut up now. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.